everybody, what's going on? Coach William Grazione here, owner of The Educated Dieter, bringing you guys back another client transformation success story. Now today what I'm going to show you is one of our clients right now. This gentleman has lost roughly 20 pounds of body fat working with Coach Zach Ritchie over the last 3 months, all right? And the reason that I'm sharing this with you is essentially because I believe most men drastically underestimate how much body fat they need to lose to be able to acquire the look that they're going for. Now obviously we all look at other individuals' bodies and we all see people that have shredded abs and veins everywhere and they're diced and we're like, man, how much work does it take to be able to accomplish that? And so what I want to do in today's video is basically highlight the reality that oftentimes men have to lose more to look a certain way than they think they do. Now the first thing we're going to talk about is how much weight do you actually have to lose to be able to acquire that look that you want. Now what I'm going to give you is a very general rule of thumb. So whatever weight you think you need to lose to look the weight that you want, probably have to add 10 pounds to that, okay? So if you think you got to lose 20 pounds to be super shredded for the beach this summer, you might need to lose 30, okay? If you think you only need to lose 10 pounds, you might need to lose 20, okay? But that is the reality that I have come to experience over the course of being a coach for the last 13 years, as well as taking myself through a personal transformation journey. So let me go ahead and talk to you a little bit about my personal story and how I got to where I am, or how I went from being a 225-pound college linebacker to being a 170-pound natural bodybuilding champion, okay? Now, starting off at 225 pounds, nobody would have ever been able to tell me that I had to lose 50-something pounds in order to win my first bodybuilding show. However, that was the exact thing that needed to happen. So what I did was I said, all right, I'm still playing football. I know at 225 pounds, I'm not gonna be as athletic. So let me go ahead and improve my 40-yard dash time. Let me improve my agility. Let me improve my pound-for-pound strength. Play at 205 pounds so I can be more agile, mobile, all that stuff, right? And then from that point, I can focus on natural bodybuilding when I'm done playing football. And so I unintentionally broke my diet up into 2 parts. And that's the best advice that I can give to many of you right now. Many of you have been trying to lose 30, 40, 50 pounds in one straight shot. But the reality is that it's so much easier to do when you can break up your fat loss in multiple different phases, okay? So here's what I mean by that, all right? So the method, if you need to lose 20 pounds total, okay, you can lose 10 pounds plus 10 pounds equals 20 pounds. Obviously, we are not all mathematicians here, but that makes sense. So what you put in the middle of this is a diet break, okay? Now, what is a diet break? I'm gonna give you guys a real quick understanding with regards to what you should do nutritionally, what you should do from a training perspective, and what you should do from a cardio perspective. So with regards to your nutrition, I typically recommend plus 100% of carbohydrate from what you did to lose the 10 pounds. You're tracking your macronutrients, maybe you're even having some high carb days, and your carbohydrates are like 150 to 200 grams on your low days, but on your high days you're having like a 400 gram day. That's awesome. But here's the thing, you would just plus by 100%. So if they were 150, you take them to 300. If they're 200, you would take them to 400, okay? Now that's what I would do nutritionally. I'd probably keep protein and fat the same. I'm just adding more from carbohydrate. Now with regards to cardio, what I'm doing is I'm actually dropping cardio back as much as I can and just adding in a standardized daily step count. Okay, so I am X-naying any extra cardio, and then my job here is then to standardize steps, okay? So maybe they're already doing 7,000 or 10,000 steps on a daily basis. I'm cutting out the intentional cardio and I'm keeping the steps standardized at 7,000 to 10,000 depending on what that person's doing. Now the last thing I'm going to be adjusting is going to be training variables. Now many people, after they've lost 10 pounds of body fat, they start to feel a little bit fatigued. Training might start to take a hit, okay? And so what I like to do is if the individual is doing 3 sets of an exercise, I'll tape it back to 2 sets of exercise. Individual is doing 4 sets of an exercise, I'll taper that back to 3 sets of an exercise. Either way, I'm taking volume down, but I'm keeping training intensity the same so that the nervous system response, the nervous system adaptation is still there. The last thing I want is to come back from a deload and actually feel like I've lost strength just because I haven't lifted as heavy for maybe 2 weeks or longer, depending on how long you choose to use this diet break for. So in many cases, this diet break is going to be anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. Now you probably noticed in the transformation story that I posted the other day, they decided to take a break because he had lost 20 pounds. He's like, all right, starting to get kind of fatigued here. I'm thinking I need a bit of a break. What can we do? Voila, implement a diet break to help get him through this phase so that they can actually start up the fat loss phase again once he feels like he's fully recovered. This gentleman actually has plans of stepping on stage, and so we basically want him to be closer to within striking distance before we start that fat loss phase again. And the last thing we're going to talk about is annual diet planning. Now obviously I know that there's a lot of people out there trying to lose a lot of weight, but they're trying to do so in a method that's far too extreme. If somebody has 40 pounds to lose, this is going to be pretty hard if you do it all by yourself. But what if you said 2 times 20? 2 sets of 20 pounds. Is that more realistic? I think so. What if you did 4 sets of 10? Is that more realistic? I think so. I also think it'll help keep the metabolism healthier because you can add in a diet break every time you have to stop this 10 pounds. Now you could even go even more conservative. Hell, and you could go 8 sets of 5 pounds. Okay? Now what does that do? There's a lot of people that don't use carb cycling that would say, well, that just stretches out the fat loss phase. It would take twice as long to do that. Like, why would anybody want to do that? And the reality is simply this. If we want long-term sustainable fat loss, in my opinion, pushing the gas, trying to lose an ample amount of body fat in one shot is not the right way to do that. We would rather break this up over the course of time, because if lifelong fat loss is your goal, trying to create this new homeostatic point, then how much time it takes to achieve that is absolutely irrelevant. By using diet breaks and implementing high carb day strategies and giving them breaks and trying their best to manage cortisol, when we get to the end of this, losing 40 pounds, we can easily increase their calories back up to what their diet break macros were, and they will likely be able to maintain this weight loss. So if we're trying to equip clients with the best tools that we can in order to help them achieve lifelong fat loss, I think using diet breaks and using refeeds is the way to do that. Otherwise, you're just going to continue to push yourself down a deep, dark hole and ultimately leads to a rebound. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you found something valuable out of this video. Hopefully y'all have a blessed day, and it's getting late here in the office. My eyes are getting a little loopy. I'm out. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.